Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa visit Swaziland to distribute rice to their care recipients. In Miaoli, Taiwan, students from Zhuolan Elementary School celebrate moving into their new temporary classrooms. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Miaoli. Thank you for joining us. We kick off our program today in South Africa. Tzu Chi volunteers from Durban traveled to Swaziland once again to work with their local counterparts in distributing rice for the third time this year. During this mission, the volunteers combined their rice distribution with home visitations so as to better understand the needs of the people there.
For the third time this year, Taiwanese rice has found its way to Swaziland, where Tzu Chi volunteers enter the homes and hearts of impoverished residents. Here, the volunteers shower a severely handicapped boy with sincere care. In poverty-stricken Swaziland, Tzu Chi volunteers respectfully handed out boxes of food. Poverty has taught the residents here to cherish everything. In a country where suffering is rampant, volunteers did their best to heal hearts with listening and singing.
Recently, another 2 of the Body Water Park burn victims have recovered enough to be discharged from the hospital. Later, we visit Zhuolan, who suffered third-degree burns to 63% of her body. But first, we head to Taichung to meet up with Lu Yiming. Lu was hailed as a miracle because although suffering burns to 90% of his body, he was able to breathe on his own only 3 days after being hospitalized. Now heading home, Lu thanked the medical staff for their work during his some 3-month stay at the hospital and says he looks forward to spending time with his dog. Lu Yiming is quite happy he is heading home. His message of being discharged from a Taichung hospital on a social media site garnered many congratulations and well wishes.
I want to catch up with my family and friends.
Suffering burns to 90% of his body, Lu Yiming was breathing without the help of a ventilator just 3 days after the accident. Thinking back to his rehabilitation process, he says the stretching of the burned areas was the most painful part.
Life is precious. I must seize each moment and live life to the fullest.
At the end of his arduous 102-day journey of recovery, Yiming not only thanked the doctors and nurses for their care, but also his families and friends for their support.
I want to thank my parents and sister for being there for me every step of the way and for not giving up on me.
We have to be strong. His road to recovery is long and needs our companionship every step of the way.
Despite the long road ahead, Lu Yiming is not afraid as he knows he's not walking it alone. Meanwhile, in Taipei, another Body Water Park victim, Zhuolan, is being discharged from Cathay General Hospital. To celebrate, Tzu Chi volunteers from Da'an District brought some gifts in honor of her new start in life.
To me, sunflowers represent vitality, happiness, and zest of life. After this ordeal, I hope you find renewed passion for living and be reminded that life is good.
When the explosion first happened, Zhuolan was standing at the front row and thus suffered third-degree burns to 63% of her body. During her treatments, she once thought of taking her own life to end the suffering. However, she saw the errors of her ways with the support of her family.
I saw how strong my mother was being for me, and I didn't want to let her down.
Zhuolan has always been a reserved child, constantly hiding the love she has for her mother in her heart. It was thanks to the volunteers that Zhuolan finally learned to express her love.
She's my youngest. She's a sweet child. I want Zhuolan to get better soon. She needs to continue with her rehab exercises. I look forward to the day she's fully recovered.
4 days after Zhuolan was discharged from the hospital, Tzu Chi volunteers from DaAi visited her at home in New Taipei City's Jinshan to introduce the Tzu Chi volunteers who will be continuing to look after her.
This is Sister Luo. This is Sister Li. They live near you, so it's more convenient for them to visit you should you need anything. Please don't hesitate to call on them.
The volunteers did not forget to extend their support to Zhuolan's father, who was hurt in a car accident 2 years ago. Facing the long road to recovery together, the three bravely faced the uncertain future ahead as a family. The air quality in Malaysia continues to worsen as a result of forest fires in Indonesia. Since the haze outbreak last month, air pollution has tipped beyond dangerous levels, prompting school closures across the country. Earlier this week, staff members of the Tzu Chi Dialysis Center in Penang visited various Tzu Chi establishments to distribute surgical masks, as well as to raise awareness on the health impacts of haze and what one can do to protect oneself and one's loved ones.
The worsening haze problem in Malaysia continues to make headlines in local news. As air pollution has reached dangerously high levels, more than 2,000 schools in the country have been forced to suspend classes. Wearing surgical masks when going outdoors is becoming a part of everyday life here in Malaysia. At the Tzu Chi Dialysis Center in Penang, staff members are reading surgical masks as well as information leaflets for distribution.
This is to show the health effects of smog and how one can protect oneself from the effects of air pollution. We have also listed the symptoms one may experience. Staff members first distributed masks to volunteers in the lobby of the dialysis center and also showed them the correct way to wear a surgical mask. Next, staff members arrived at the Jingsi Books and Cafe. Leaflets were placed in a visible area to allow visitors easy access to the information. The next stop was DaAi Kindergarten, where staff members distributed cotton masks to children.
今天你穿了嘛，对不对？回到家你要拿去洗，然后给它晾给它干，隔天就穿另外一个放在上面。
Finally, staff members arrived at the Jingsi Hall, their last stop for the day, to distribute surgical masks to their counterparts, ensuring they are also properly protected from the haze.
In Shenzhen, China, Tzu Chi volunteers successfully carried out 3 performances of a musical while passing on the teachings of filial piety and touching the hearts of more than 4,000 members of the audience. Next, let's take a look at how the onstage volunteers sacrificed their Golden Week holidays to practice for the musical.
Expressing the importance of doing good deeds and fulfilling filial duties, the onstage volunteers carried out 3 performances of a musical.
I was really moved. To be honest, we really need to appreciate our parents nowadays.
The music and mindfulness of the crew left me quite touched.
Portraying the life of a rebellious son, the musical presented real life on stage. One of the actors, Luo Liwen, is thankful that his mother never gave up on him.
My mother hoped I would change for the better, and she used all kinds of ways to teach me what the correct path is.
The musical was a great success, thanks to the onstage volunteers who seized the Golden Week holidays to practice in a camp held for teenagers in Shenzhen. Among the onstage volunteers was also a family of 3 generations.
The 3 generations of our family performed together. Time really flies. It is our blessing to be able to do more for others in the limited time we have in our life.
From elementary school pupils to college students, the onstage volunteers work with one heart and one mind to pass on the teachings of filial piety and gratitude.
Earlier this year, the Tzu Chi Foundation decided to help with the reconstruction of Zhuolan Elementary School in Miaoli, Taiwan. As construction is expected to take at least 2 years to complete, Tzu Chi set up temporary classrooms to allow classes to continue uninterrupted. Now that these temporary classrooms have been completed, students and teachers celebrated moving into their new classrooms.
From above, one can see that the 110-year-old Zhuolan Elementary School is currently undergoing reconstruction. During the reconstruction period, classes for the elementary division are being held in another part of the school building, while the kindergarten division has moved into temporary classrooms set up by the Tzu Chi Foundation. This is a special day for students and teachers of Zhuolan Elementary.
我们搬过来就看到这里很漂亮，喜欢吗？喜欢，很舒服。
These well-lit and ventilated classrooms have been designed with environmental concepts in mind. The building material volunteers used for the construction of the temporary classrooms is in fact used building material left over from the temporary classroom Tzu Chi built for DaAi Elementary.
All of our building materials can be disassembled and reused afterwards. Even the gravel beneath these interlocking bricks can be recycled and reused.
Prefabricated units used during the 88 floods 6 years ago are also given an extended lease of life as they serve as multi-purpose classrooms.
The Tzu Chi Foundation's assistance has really put our minds at ease. Our students can now study free of worries.
I often saw a group of people working away under the big tree. There was something very special about their uniform. They always wore blue shirts and white pants. The Tzu Chi volunteers' presence throughout the construction process has left a deep impression in the students' hearts, and they will forever remember the loving kindness of these angels dressed in blue and white. Among the 6 schools that the Tzu Chi Foundation is rebuilding in Zhuolan County is Yuli Junior High in Yuli Township. The foundation is currently building the school a new activities center, as the original building was more than 30 years old and was unable to withstand further earthquakes. With the school less than 600 meters away from the Yuli Fault, having a building that can withstand earthquakes is not only vital for the students and faculty, but the surrounding community as well. This is Yuli Junior High of Zhuolan County. It is the only junior high in Taiwan that is split in half by a railway. For 69 years, both faculty and students have to use an underground passage to reach the other side of campus.
What lies on the other side is the Student Activity Center. Some 760 students from the school's 30 classes will come here for PE class or General Assembly.
The Activity Center was built in 1983. Besides serving our school, another one of its functions is being one of the main evacuation centers for our town.
Though designated as an evacuation center, the 32-year-old building is not quake-proof and has undergone numerous repairs over the years.
After the 9/21 earthquake, the Ministry of Education decided to conduct building inspections in the country's junior and elementary schools to see if they could withstand earthquakes. At this school, the result was unsatisfactory. This area here is a total mess. The steel has rusted to the core. It's totally useless now.
Zhuolan was one of the architects who conducted the building inspection at the school in 2010.
The concrete walls were severely cracked. Inside the building, the pillars and columns were all rusted. The building was really in no condition to be used on a regular basis. So my recommendation was to tear down and rebuild it.
However, securing the reconstruction funds was a problem.
We need a safer activity center. Since 2010, we have been actively searching for ways to fund the reconstruction, but to no avail.
The school is only 560 meters from the Yuli Fault. Worried about student safety, the Tzu Chi Foundation decided to act. On August 31st of this year, the old Student Activity Center was finally torn down.
This picture was taken from right around here. Before, we had to go this way to get there. Now there's the underground passage.
The school's Director of General Affairs has been serving here for 22 years. He is also an alumnus and has a deep connection with the school.
When bulldozing began, I was a little sad. But without taking the step, there will be bigger problems later. I must convey my deepest gratitude to the Tzu Chi Foundation for helping our school resolve this problem. This is for the sake of not only our faculty and students, but residents around the area as well.
Now the music class is carried out in the hallways, while the track team practices in the underground passage.
School serves as emergency shelters in times of disasters, so we have taken quick survivability into consideration in this rebuilding project.
The new activity center, built with love and wisdom, will be a fortress capable of safeguarding people of Yuli when completed.
Guofeng Junior High School is the largest middle school in Hualien County. However, as the school was constructed over farmland and marshland 47 years ago, land subsidence and earthquakes have caused serious damage to the school's buildings. Thus, the Tzu Chi Foundation will be building the school a brand new building that will hold 74 classrooms and accommodate up to some 1,300 students. I have been worried about the situation at our school. Only after they began tearing down the old buildings did I realize the steel bars inside were very thin. It was a blessing that none of the buildings collapsed or caused injury in all these years.
In 1968, the Taiwan government implemented 9-year compulsory education nationwide, which gave birth to Guofeng Junior High in Hualien's Guofeng Borough. Several of the 47-year-old school's buildings are now showing their age with large cracks.
See, you can fit a cell phone in the crack. Look at how big it is. My guess is this has to do with land subsidence and the expansion that was done, which increased the load on the ground.
Originally, this area was marshland and farmland, and thus the ground was softer. As one story was added on top of another, land subsistence worsened.
The first 5 meters beneath the surface is a very soft layer. By placing buildings on top of a layer like this one, they will sink continuously.
Sometimes I would think, since we haven't been able to secure funds to rebuild our school, and since sometimes earthquakes hit at night when no one is in the school, how nice it would be if the school just collapsed after a quake, so the government would be forced to rebuild our school.
The principal's wish finally came true this past summer, but it was not an earthquake that brought the school down, but the Tzu Chi Foundation's school rebuilding project, which has breathed new life into this old school. Before demolition began, former graduates were invited back to revisit their alma mater. Many of them are now Tzu Chi's volunteers themselves. These Tzu Chi volunteers are not only the school's alumni but also residents of Hualien. To reciprocate what the school and its faculty have done for them, they came back to help remove furniture on the first day of summer break.
I was a graduate of the school's inaugural class. My homeroom teacher paid for my tuition for my whole 3 years there. I've learned to be grateful in Tzu Chi, so today I am here to reciprocate the love I've received. After the month-long demolition, during the 2-month waiting period for a construction license, the school invited Tzu Chi volunteers to come back and plant 30,000 seeds of hope. We hope this field will be full of mustard flowers. They will symbolize nourishment for our students and faculty and a brand new beginning for our school. With the positive energy of the Tzu Chi volunteers, I believe our potential is limitless.
The new building will be 4 stories tall with 1 story underground. With a total of 76 classrooms, it will have a maximum capacity of some 1,300 students. Not only will there be plenty of room for regular classes, but it will also have space for extracurricular activities. The building will be quake-proof as well.
The foundation will reach 5 to 6 meters below the surface, so you can sit directly on the gravel layer. The gravel layer has excellent load capacity, so the new building will be very sturdy.
Thinking of every detail, the Tzu Chi Foundation is working to build these children and the generations that follow a safer school.
Moving to Japan, to help celebrate Taiwan's Double 10 national holiday, Tokyo Chinese School held a charity fair to which Tzu Chi volunteers were invited to sell Taiwanese snacks. The volunteers seized the occasion to also promote vegetarianism as well as Jingsi tea to the delight of fairgoers.
Complete with the lion dance and the hanging of national flags, the Tokyo Chinese School celebrated Double 10 Day with a charity bazaar.
Our burdock does not have preservatives. In Japan, you won't find burdock tea that is more aromatic.
The bazaar showcased all sorts of Taiwanese delicacies to the delight of overseas Taiwanese here in Japan.
Our Jingsi products do not contain preservatives, so we want to promote these good products to the public in Japan. Our products are almost sold out today.
At the Tzu Chi stall, volunteers also seized the occasion to promote vegetarianism.
The vegetarian pork floss tastes like pork floss, but it does not contain meat. It has the aroma of grains and tastes delicious.
Coming here, I can get a taste of Taiwanese culture. I like it very much.
Besides Taiwanese delicacies, volunteers also promoted Taiwanese tea at the bazaar.
This is a tea of 3 good vows. After drinking it, I must keep my vows.
To participate in a charity bazaar every year, volunteers have to prepare their stall and help with recycling at the event. But thanks to their tireless efforts, the Japanese public got a wonderful taste of Taiwanese culture today.
Since June 21st, Tzu Chi volunteers in New York have held weekly street cleaning events on Sundays in Brooklyn's 8th Avenue, the area otherwise known as Chinatown, as the street is often littered with garbage at the end of the week. In the past 3 months since this cleanup effort began, Tzu Chi volunteers have recently seen a real significant decrease in garbage collected. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us at DaAi Headlines. See you next time.